Hello, I'm Always Awkward, and in honor of Xavier's new myth that's rumored to be coming out soon, it's time for a deep dive into Xavier's backstory and his current myths, or at least what we have and know so far. All of the love interests in Love and Deepspace have some pretty angsty backstories, but I think Xavier's is one of the most complicated. And why? Well, because he's a freaking time traveler. He's from the future, which is bound to make things complicated. And that's saying something, especially considering that the other myths that we have for the other love interest contain a dragon, a sea god, an actual god, and whatever the heck Caleb is other than the colonel. I haven't watched or read his cards since he's not one that I main, so I'm not up to date on him. Don't come at me. This is about Xavier. A quick side note in case you were wondering and haven't played the game or gotten that far, all of the love interests have stories with the MC, but none of them have been with her at the same time. It's heavily implied that both Xavier and Silas do exist in the same timeline that we as a player are in now, and during one of Xavier's notes, he's mentioned as going to the N109 zone as Lumiere and taking out some pretty high wanderers. There's also gameplay footage in the main timeline of both of them there at the same time. In the latest main story update, we also saw that the facility that MC and Caleb were in had Silas come in and rescue her, which really makes you wonder more about Silas. He seems to be everywhere and in all the timelines. Maybe he's like Xavier, who knows? But I do want to clarify that all of the storylines are separate, which is fairly normal for an Otome game to be set up that way. Each timeline is its own story, and that includes the myths, even with a lot of them taking place in Philos and Lincoln. In the main story, they all exist in the same timeline with us, which is why Xavier's stories can get a little complicated, since he exists in both the past, present, and future. But MC is neutral in the main story, so she's not cheating or even dating anyone in it. Now, some of the past myths do seem to come into play in the main timeline, such as Raphael's bond or Silas and her still sharing a soul, but as the player, you decide who you're romancing. Anyway, let's start at the beginning. So Xavier is the first love interest we meet in the main story. He's a hunter like us and becomes our partner at work, and later in other ways, if we so choose. His first myth is his shooting star myth, which gives you the cards Light-Seeking Shadowwind and Light-Seeking Obsession. When the two first meet in the past, Xavier and MC, which if you don't already know stands for main character, are both students at the Astria Knight Academy in the year 217. Xavier is the Prince of Philos, and MC is a rising Grand Knight. And MC has a rare disease called Protocore Syndrome and knows that she's dying. She's accepted it and goes about just making the best of it. She asks Xavier to watch Meteor Shower with her, which is where she gives him a little star tassel that he still wears on his sword in every timeline and universe. MC doesn't see Xavier for an entire month, and once she knows her time is running out, she goes to where they watch the meteor shower together, which we can see in the clip here.
Can you stand? Steady. I can carry you if you can't walk. And even if you could, I wouldn't mind carrying you. Fireflies, just for you. It's nothing. I happened to catch a shooting star. Yes, of course I do. Our little planet. Unlikely. It's only 200 years old. It's a very young planet. However, Uluru's flowers should be blooming. You rest. I'll be by your side, always.
He holds her as she passes away, and he promises to find and save her in every timeline, which is just so tragic, and Xavier carries so much guilt over it. This guilt is portrayed in every action that he has later on in other meetings with MC, regardless of the timeline or universe. He tries to not get close to her, believing that since he wasn't able to save her, he doesn't actually deserve to be with her. The current MC is working on this with him as Xavier relearns how to trust. We can most likely see that in the recent card with him, the Feverish Dreams, where they actually get a little bit more communication going. This now leads to the actual myth. Shooting Stars is set in the past future. Yeah, it's all timey-wimey stuff. You kind of learn to just roll with it. So MC doesn't remember him or the promises they had made in this timeline or universe. She's now a Moonchaser Knight alongside Xavier, and she trusts him immediately, but doesn't know or understand why. During the Gladius ceremony, Xavier goes into Starfall Forest and promises to return. But when he does finally come back, he doesn't say anything. He just holds her. But we as viewers learn what happened there. Let's watch.
Hence why I didn't tell you. It's not just a person's heart. This concerns the entire planet. We found out the secret Philos has been hiding. Civilians and knights were not the only ones swallowed by this gaping maw. In exchange for the planet's longevity, the royal family occasionally sent in humans. Wanderers would be born as a result. A knight's glory, honor. There is nothing. And even if there were, they are long dead and gone. The Order of Lightseekers has always kept the truth in the shadows. For the royal family's sake, no one was to be told of people becoming food. Upon my return to the palace, I learned they stopped sending people to Philos' heart. They found the perfect sacrifice. She can die and be reborn without end. In their eyes, she was the planet's very life force, for only she had achieved true immortality. The royal family believed if they sent her into the planet's heart when the time was right, their problems would be solved. No one asked how she felt, or whether she was willing to sacrifice herself. They also care little about her being left in a hole to die and be reborn again and again. Her duty was to save Philos because her existence works in such a manner. It was the justification for not holding a ceremony. How could I wear the crown when it means coating my hands in her blood?
So basically, Xavier found out that their planet Philos shouldn't even exist. It was man-made, and the people kept its planet alive by sacrifices. The royal family, Xavier's own family, decided to start sacrificing people in the forest to keep their planet alive, and those sacrifices were sent inside Starfall Forest. MC is a true immortal though, so instead of just dying and staying that way, she keeps coming back and being reborn. The royal family decided she was perfect for what they needed, so they decided to just use her instead of sacrificing others. This really messed Xavier up when he found out, which isn't surprising. I think that would really F up anyone. He was in love with MC and didn't want to keep losing her, regardless of what the kingdom said. He turns his back on everything, all for the one he loved. So next, Xavier goes on a mission and doesn't come back for a long time. When he does, he reveals he's been investigating everything and trying to stop the cycle of MC dying and being reborn. So Xavier and a few others decide to go back in time to stop Philos from ever needing sacrifices in the first place. They become known as backtrackers, those who don't want their planet to have to keep itself alive by death. Before leaving, Xavier appointed MC as the planet's queen so that she couldn't be used while he was gone, and promises he would come back. Spoiler alert, he doesn't, and the myth ends with MC heartbroken and saying, "My star has left me," which, after reading Silas's dragon myth, seems to be a callback to her saying, "My dragon has left me." Invold really likes angst. Like, thank goodness we have a really cute wedding banner going on. Right now, it's just kind of just offset it. And you know how you can set nicknames for each of the guys? Like, imagine how much it hurts Xavier to call you his queen now. And just to clarify, the first MC and Queen MC are two different rebirths. First MC passed away in his arms, and Queen MC is believed to also have died, according to a few more anecdotes. Seriously guys, don't miss out on reading the anecdotes for all of the guys. It gives so much lore and backstory that we wouldn't get in the main story. So, what happened? Why didn't Xavier come back to Queen MC? As it turns out, Xavier and his team crash land into the wrong timeline, our current world, but centuries before MC's even born. He doesn't give up and spends centuries trying to simultaneously get more info on energy sources for Philos and fixing the ship so they can go back. And as we know, they're never able to. His team members end up resenting him after centuries of this, so they either give up and settle down on the planet or decide that our MC is the solution to their problem, so they go hunt her down. Now, obviously, Xavier only has one goal in his mind: save and protect MC no matter what. So he's literally spending his nights taking out his ex-team members and the Wanderers that they're sending for him, which, by the way, is why he's so sleepy all the time. As far as we know, each MC in every timeline has Protocore Syndrome, so it seems to be a race to the clock in saving her. Lucky us, huh? The next myth is Twilight Dawn, and gives you the cards Midnight Rainfall and Midnight Whispers, and this is set during the current timeline, but in his own branch, so the other guys don't exist in this universe. It starts with MC on a movie set with Xavier, where he's playing Lumiere. He asks why she's so excited about Lumiere, and she mentions she wonders if Lumiere is actually the one who saved her 14 years ago during the Chronal Rift disaster. Later on, during a rehearsal, Xavier goes off when some people show up to pick a fight with him. Most likely, this is his old crew that got stuck in the past with him. Xavier and MC end up being chased by them, and the two end up in an old ship that makes it pretty obvious, to us anyway, that it's Xavier's ship that he came from the future in. And while this is all happening, there's a metaflux in the square. Xavier is basically knocked out from exhaustion after using his evol so much, so MC has to go on her own to fight all these Wanderers. During this, she gets overrun with them and ends up getting seriously hurt and blacks out. She has a vision of the Chronal Rift disasters that happened 14 years ago, which is where Lumiere, aka Xavier, saved her when she was a child. There are several beams of light that appear around her, and when she opens her eyes, she sees Lumiere, who is holding her in his arms. There's a familiar warmth about him, she noticed, and starts to wonder if it's actually Xavier. She already knew that he had been keeping a pretty big secret. She wasn't positive at first until she regained consciousness and properly saw Xavier again. In the ending, Xavier gets jealous of Lumiere, even though that's his own alter ego, because Lumiere is MC's savior in his mind. MC has been teasing him since she's been stuck on bed rest, like buying all this Lumiere merchandise and showing it off, even getting the outfit and having Xavier wear it. He even quotes,
"While Lumiere is handsome and gentle, I'm apparently harsh and cruel,"
which were words she had called him in a teasing manner, though our boy didn't realize she had been teasing the whole time. MC finally decides to let him out of his misery and tells him that her favorite person is the jealous dummy in front of her. This seems to surprise him, but you can also see the absolute joy on his face, because it confirms in his mind that MC likes him for who he is, and not the perfect idol, that Lumiere is to so many others. But Xavier's story isn't over. Now we're in our current timeline in the main story, but in Xavier's branch. Before becoming a hunter, Xavier was a police officer. He ended up having to leave and fake his death since they were starting to question him a bit more, and he couldn't really tell them he was from the future. Many, many years later, he even visits his own grave, which that would really trip anyone out. The Wanderers that attacked Xavier in the very beginning were sent by Soren, who was a backtracker just like Xavier. He creates a hallucinogenic that makes Xavier see Starfall Forest, which was where the royal family sent people to die, so he sees MC dying over and over again. MC sees him going into a type of trance, and uses her evil to resonate with him to save him. Let's watch.
A planet that uses to survive. Doesn't deserve to be saved. You are... You can't stay here. Run. Otherwise, you'll... as well. It's okay. Starfall Forest will stop once it has enough power. It will. I didn't protect you before. At least, it chose me this time. No. You really are reckless.
They navigate back to Xavier's ship, but because this is all an illusion, it's not the wrecked version, it's still intact. When the ship powers on and mentions Mythos, MC says it sounds familiar, and Xavier tells her it's his homeland, and it's far from Earth. Which, freaking finally some communication and a direct answer from him. Xavier's really good at vague answers, most likely from having to live so long and hide the fact that he's from the future. This branch of the main story ends with them completing the mission, even though Soren is still missing. It leaves us with more questions than answers, though. Like, did all the backtrackers who betrayed Xavier end up working for Ever? I mean, let's face it, everything goes back to Ever. During Queen MC's final moments with him, she had noticed a ring around Xavier's neck and asked if he'd changed his freedom for the Protocol. We can see later that it has Ever's logo on it, suggesting that he did make a deal with them. We ourselves see the ring around his neck during our first meeting with him. So Ever is the reason for so much crap. But that's for another video, as it could take a while to get through everything for them. So there you have it. All of Xavier's myths currently, and where we are with him in the main story. I'm so excited to see what they do for his new myth. Raphael's just came out a few weeks ago, and we finally got to see the sea god with a tail, so I have hopes for Xavier's new myth. I'm trying to save and farm for as many diamonds as possible, since there are rumors of the next banner being a spicy summer banner, and I really don't want to miss out on that. But what do you think of Xavier's myths? Any predictions for the upcoming one? Let us know in the comments below. As always, keep smiling. Bye!